everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about these new palettes from Mcgrath. These are the new 5-pan palettes that she launched in her holiday collection. These were the ones that I was most excited about. I'm going to be honest. The big palette, though it's beautiful, it's a little bit colorful for me, and these were the palettes that I was personally most excited about. Recently uploaded my video of the Celestial Nirvana palette with a ton of swatches and comparisons. If you guys haven't seen that video, I will link it down in the description box down below so you guys can check it out. But today it's going to be all about these 5-pan palettes. Let's get into it. So these are being called the Celestial Nirvana eyeshadow palettes. Each of them retail for $36. I actually bought the bundle of the two, and I also saved 10% off by using Nirvana 10 as the code. So just FYI, if you order it from Mcgrath's website, don't forget to use the discount code. So the packaging on these, they're just small, kind of cardboard-ish, right? Kind of the same packaging as the larger Celestial Mega palette, along with some of her blush palettes and stuff. So if you're familiar with that, I'm not super mad at the packaging because they're $36. They could be much more if they had fancier packaging. So I'm not mad at this. I think these are cute. These are offering an ultra soft velvet matte, gleaming metallics and a luminous shimmers, creamy, silky to the touch, smooth color laydown. Each palette has 4 grams worth of product, which is 0.14 ounces. This is the Nude Allure palette. This kind of has the pinky tones. I'm wearing this palette on this eye. This is the one I was personally excited about. This is the Bronze Bliss, and I'm wearing it on this eye. Now, let's briefly talk about the mattes. So she's calling it a velvety matte. To me, it's a creamy matte. I wouldn't say it's like the creamy mattes from Natasha Denona, but they're creamy. So they're creamy to the touch. They're definitely a velvety texture, don't get me wrong, but they feel much creamier. That was what kind of piqued my interest about these in the beginning. And then of course, when I saw these shades, I was just, there's something about the black with like silver, gold, rose gold, and kind of a whitish color. Those tones are special and they're beautiful. So this was definitely the one I was most excited about. So that's pretty much all of the details on these two palettes. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorials, and I'm going to play with each one of the palettes, kind of sharing my experience along the way. Then we will get into the swatches and comparisons, and I will swatch these palettes and also compare them to other products that I find that might be similar. And then I will go ahead and jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. All right, I just caught up with my Housewives of Salt Lake City, and boy, was that episode kind of cuckoo. All right, let's jump into these new palettes. I am kind of excited about this palette. I am, especially now having those mattes being so creamy. Whew. See how I just put my finger in there? Here is the Nude Allure. So my plan for the Bronze Bliss, there is a video, and if I can find it, I will link it in the description box. There's a video from Andreea, who just, maybe her name is Ali Andreea. I don't know. I always thought it was Andreea, but I could be totally wrong. You guys know of her. She is phenomenal. I love her eyeshadow looks. They're more my jam. All of her eyeshadow looks are more my speed. They're gorgeous. She created an eyeshadow look last year for the holidays, and it was absolutely stunning. And I haven't seen it for a while, but it had like the black right here and the black on the inner corner. And the way that she kind of angled it, and I don't know that it was black. It might have been like a darker purple, but the whole point to that is I kind of want to try to recreate that using this palette. When I saw the tones and the swatches of this palette, that was what popped in my head, and that's what I want to try to do. So we're going to try it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do not have near the talent that that girl has. Like, oh, she is a real legit straight up makeup artist, and she is phenomenal. By the way, I do have my Natasha Denona Glam palette on standby because I think these tones, these mattes will work really well with this palette. So I'm going to start with the black. And by the way, you guys, look what just came in the mail. Look what I just got in the mail. I'm so excited. So Beautylish and Sonia G were kind enough to send me over the Fusion Eye Set, and I got it today, and I am so excited to use these brushes. Let's go through the brushes really quick, just so that you guys can see it. This is the Builder. This is the Worker. This is the Detail. This is the Blender. This is the Jumbo Worker. Disclosure, I haven't washed these brushes. Typically, when you're working with natural haired brushes, it's always best to wash them before you use them because they kind of fluff when you wash them, but I want to use them today. So I'm going to take the Builder brush from the Fusion, and I'm going to go into the black, and I'm just going to kindly, very gently, very softly try to tap this into the outer corner and the inner corner, but I'm going to do it on an angle. So I tapped off the brush, PS. So I'm going to bring that on the inner corner, but like, I might need a smaller brush for this. Yeah, I'm going to use a smaller brush. Okay, I'm going to use the Refer 3 brush. I just don't remember exactly how she did it, but I'm getting there. I remember her saying in the video, like, trust the process. And she's right. Trust the process, kids. You know, to be honest with you though, even though that shade is really dark, and even though I got a tiny bit of fallout, I didn't get as much as I would have with a powder matte. So because this is creamy, I feel like it doesn't get as much fallout. I'm gonna go into the rose gold, okay, with my finger. And I'm gonna start it with my finger, and then I'll kind of use a brush to define it. I'm gonna kind of bring that into the crease. I am gonna go into Blend, this shade right here in the Natasha Denona Glam, to kind of carve out the crease, just to kind of blend out the crease. Okay, now I need to kind of focus a little bit more on that black. It's almost like I need to deepen that black. The black's kind of bluish right now, and the black needs to be darker. I'm gonna go back over top of it one more time and deepen it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but see how it looks really blue? Especially on the inner corner, it looks kind of blue and not black. I'm not loving the blue base on this black. I'm gonna go into the lash line shade in the Glam palette and kind of deepen this up and kind of take away from that blue color because it just looks blue. I want to grab like this shade and then put this over top of it just for fun. If I wasn't filming, I would just put this over top of it. But I'm going to go into this middle shade and I'm going to place it like right there on the center. Woo! See what I'm saying? That stuff is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Do you see what just happened? Okay, now I'm going to go into the first shade, and I'm going to put that right just for fun because I just want to play with both of them. Okay, so I went ahead and wiped it, threw on some concealer. Let's go on to the lower lash line. I'm going to take that small brush, and I'm going to go into the black, kind of following the same area. that I have the black. I am going to go in to the rose gold color. Now I'm just going to kind of play around with it and kind of define everything up. So I'm going into the blend shade from the Natasha Denona palette and kind of defining this crease a little bit. I went ahead and threw on some mascara, and I did decide to take a little bit of the rose gold and kind of bring it up and into the brow bone just to kind of give it a little bit of oomph, but I actually really like this. It's kind of unique and fun, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it is not near as pretty as Miss Leandre, but I actually really like it, and it wasn't that hard to create, and I think it's fun and kind of different and kind of unique. It's something that's completely out of my box, and I'm here for it. So that's it for the look using the Bronze Bliss palette. Let's go ahead and jump into the Nude Allure. Let's go ahead and move on to the Nude Allure. So I'm going to first start with this cream shadow here, but that shadow is much flakier. Like my brush picked up a lot. So let me show you. See how much it picks up? Like the brush picked up a lot. Just FYI. I'm going to put it here on the outer corner. Look at that pigment though, you guys. Holy smokies. Look at that pigment. Now I'm going to take a little bit of it on a blending brush. Put it here on the crease. And I'm kind of being a little messier with it because I am going to be wiping that outer corner. Just to keep it with the same palette, I'm going to grab this shade in the Glam palette. Does your guys' palette squeak when you open it? Is mine the only one that squeaks? I'm just curious. So I'm going to use that blend shade, and I'm going to use that shade to blend out this color here. And I am getting some fallout, but I'm just going to be wiping this right here, so I'm not really worried about kind of the messy look out here. I'm trying to get the crease to kind of blend. These shades are really nice, but they are a little harder to work with, not going to lie. Just a little bit. I'm trying to get that line to blend out. And I'm struggling. You can kind of see where it's grabbing, like some of the dark spots, right? So it could just be me, right? But just FYI, I think I'm going to go in with that pink color, and I'm going to use my Smith 253. I'm going to go into that shade with a blending brush and sweep it up here in the crease just a little bit. I'm going to wipe the brush off, and I'm going to go into the first shade right here. Bring that right there into the inner corner, but I'm going to bring it up and kind of into the crease just to kind of open my eyes. I have really deep set eyes, and bringing shades like that into the crease kind of opens the eye a little bit. It kind of gives the illusion of it, so. And then I'll kind of blend that into it. I went ahead and threw on some concealer. Let's move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to use the Sonia G detailed brush, and I'm going to grab this matte. Oh, but this brush is amazing. This brush is amazing. I'm going to use that first shade as a brow bone highlight. And also here on the inner corner. Okay, so I'm back. This is the final look using the Nude Allure palette. The lippy I'm wearing, I grabbed this lip liner. This is from Tom Ford in the shade 04 Extort. And then I paired it with my shade that I created with Christian Adet. This is Bare Nectar. I just thought this shade would go so pretty with this eyeshadow look, and it does. It looks really pretty. By the way, being able to buy my lipstick and my lip gloss separately will be coming very soon. I just heard from Sweetie from Christian Adet saying that they were going to separate the bundle, which I'm excited about. But overall, that's it for the tutorials using these two palettes. Let's go ahead and jump into the swatches. I'm going to swatch these two palettes and also compare them to other palettes that I find in my collection that might be similar in these tones. And then, of course, I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so I am back. I do hope that those swatches and comparisons were helpful. Let me go ahead and get into my final thoughts. I'm going to first start with the Bronze Bliss palette. I really like this palette. My negative with this palette is this black shade turns more of a navy blue as you blend it. And I wish it had more of a charcoal gray undertone and not a blue undertone, because the formula is phenomenal. I do hope that she continues to launch palettes with this sort of matte. She's calling it a velvet. It's a very velvety, creamy matte. I just wish that black did not have that navy undertone. It would be perfect. But as much as I love this palette, because I do, if you have the ABH Sultry palette, you already have this palette in your collection. The shades were nearly identical. I'm sure you guys probably noticed that in the swatches and comparisons. It was nearly identical to the Sultry palette. The Sultry palette, in my opinion, is one of the best from ABH. It's just up there in fantastic tones. At the end of the day, is this really necessary if you already have the Sultry palette? Not really. It's not. Truthfully, it's not. And I also compared it to this palette, the Glam palette. There were also a lot of similarities with the Glam palette versus this Bronze Bliss. So again, as much as I love this Bronze Bliss palette, if you have either one of these or both of these, you definitely do not need this palette in your collection. But with that said, the textures in the Sultry palette and the Bronze Bliss are identical, meaning that they sparkle the same and they kind of have that same shine to them. But the Glam palette from Natasha Denona doesn't quite have the same sparkle as the Bronze Bliss does. So it kind of just depends. If you're wanting a little bit more of a pop, then you could totally get the Bronze Bliss and combine these two palettes together. I think that would be really beautiful. With that said, I do really like the palette. Even though I wish the black didn't have that strong navy base, it is a gorgeous palette. It is. And the textures are gorgeous. Like, they are perfection. Let's briefly talk about the Nude Allure. I definitely love the Bronze Bliss over the Nude Allure. This is one of those palettes that we have these shades in a lot of palettes, right? These are not really that unique per se. The Bronze Bliss is a little more unique because you do have those tones together. This is not really that unique. You probably have these tones a million times over, although it is really nice. And I do really like this matte, even though I struggled a little bit to get it to blend out. It eventually got there, and I think it is a gorgeous formula. Like I said, I do hope that she continues with this matte formula because, oh, it is gorgeous. There's a lot of similarities with this palette and Pat McGrath, what I found in Pat McGrath's line in some Mothership palettes. And also I compared it to this palette. This is the Huda Beauty Empowered. A lot of similarities with the Nude Allure to this one. This one I will probably not use all that much. I'm being completely honest. I don't think I'll use this one all that much. And the Bronze Bliss, I will definitely pull out when I am wanting that extra shine, because let me tell you something, this silver is probably one of the prettiest that I have. Like, this is stunning, and it really adds that extra pop, and it's beautiful. Overall, I don't have anything negative to say about these palettes. These are really, really pretty, and if you had your eye on them, I definitely don't think you'll be disappointed, especially in that matte, kind of velvety matte formula. But like I said, I do wish that that black wasn't so navy. Oh, it's such a bummer. I wanted to briefly talk about these brushes from Sonia G. These are amazing. I can't wait to continue using them. I love the shape of them, and oh, they are fantastic. These will be available on October 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So mark your calendars. This set is stunning, and I'm so excited. Oh, I love them. These are beautiful. Oh, they're so pretty. That's it for my review. Sound off down below. How many of you guys have picked up these palettes, and what is your experience? I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.